We say to Barcelona fans. Yeah, cried little babies. They certainly, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, MadridristaFitz. They are certainly not crying today as Spain absolutely dominates France in what can only be described as pure nightmare fuel for Real Madrid fans. How did we get here? Where's this going? When will the nightmare end? Who the fuck knows? But hats off to Spain. Listen, there's nothing you can say. You can't take anything away from the Spanish national team. They are quite good. And what I have headlined on my first slide, this is MadridristaFitz, home of Real Madrid's 11th best YouTube channel. We are by far the poorest channel. We have a long heart, that's for sure. But I wrote this. We have the best slides on YouTube. But I wrote, we're going to go over, by the way, we're going to go over with the best PowerPoint points on YouTube. We're going to go over Spain's dominant performance. We'll go over some of the players. We'll go over the Mbappe narrative and the Lamine Yamal narrative. I have a hot take on Lamine Yamal. Congratulations on your day after your 19th birthday for making it to the World Cup. This guy is about to get handed over a Ballon d'Or with little to no effort put in this World Cup. And then we will go over Mbappe himself. We'll be going over a little bit of Real Madrid and Barcelona news as I try to keep all Real Madrid fans and even you Barcelona bums abreast of all news on my channel. But we'll go over news about Elise and then Barcelona taking out a significant loan financially to cover their costs this summer, which will surely put them in financial fair play violations against those rules come next summer again when that turns out to be a poor move by them. We'll go over that as well. But starting off with this first slide, Spain dominate in a hook, line, and stinker from France, and then in a snoozer of a game. Wow, I butchered that, just like France butchered that fucking game today. Spain dominate, hook, line, and stinker from France in a snoozer of a game. Boy, I've watched a lot of exciting games in this World Cup. This was an absolute snoozer of a game. Just because Spain dominated from start to finish, there was no attack, no impotency from the French national team. They are significantly, admittedly so, if you watch in an objective way, you can say, Spain is the best team, that's for sure, but they certainly haven't played the most exciting of football. That's just the truth of the matter. France has been playing some pretty exciting football, some exciting individual plays, and banging in some pretty crazy goals, looking almost invincible until they ran into a fucking brick wall against the Spanish national team. And there's something to be said about how tactically sound, how well structured the Spanish team is, which I have down their starting lineup. One thing I think that's helped Spain a lot is removing the Barcelona filth from their starting lineup. If you remember at the beginning of this World Cup, they had, at the beginning of the World Cup, I'm going to pull up their, actually, let me do this right now. Let me hop on Fubo Mob and pull up their starting lineup in their first game against Capo Verde, and now look at their starting lineup now, after their dismantling of Spain. Wow, that was just incredible what Spain did to France. France stood no chance in that game after that penalty. I think that was the turning point in that game right off the rip, even before the first hydration period. They got that penalty. You could say what you want about the penalty. It stinks when games are flipped on their face on a penalty call, but they got the call right. The France defender surely kicked the Barcelona princess himself, Lamine Yamal, the future Ballon d'Or winner with the least amount of effort possible in a World Cup. He did get kicked, that's for sure. The French defender, in my opinion, it was like an absolute madness with them. He just swung around like a wild man. Now, if that ball that was kind of bouncing around and floating around in the box was right in the center of goal, certainly swing your foot, go for it. But it was like on the side of the goal, not in a super threatening area. You at that point, in my opinion, you just need to have a little bit of sanity, have a little bit of situational awareness. Maybe go in with your head. You're going up with your head. You're less likely to, cause what can only be described as a murder scene on Lamine Yamal, kicking the shit out of him. Now, did Yamal kind of embellish it? Sure. Every soccer player does, He got kicked and he acted like he got fucking, absolutely slain. Now, all right, I'm going to put this up on my on the left here. So this is the Spanish, and here comes my son. Tristan, what do we say to Barcelona fans?
Cry, little baby. Cry, little baby.
Yep, that's right. Hold on, let me open these chips for my son real quick. Look at that. I still got the power to open up the chips. Here we go. Now, I'm going to put this. So, one thing I do think that Barcelona has done really well is they have moved away from Barcelona. One thing that I think Spain has done really well is they moved away from the Barcelona filth of the first game. Probably their worst game, their worst outing where they tied Cape Verde. You can see the starting lineup. They employed 1, 2, 3. Where's Lamine Yamal? Oh, he came in that game. So they employed, starting off, they had Ferran Torres at right wing. They had Gavi in there. They had Pedri's bum ass in there. They had Kubarsi in there. So they had 1, 2, 3, 4 Barcelona players. Dani Olmo came in that game as well. And then Lamine Yamal was in that game as well. So there was like up to 6 Barcelona bums on the field at the same time. Now, what I think the Spanish national team has done very well is they've moved away from their philosophy of just playing the FC Barcelona, team in their game. This match, I counted at the beginning of the game, they only had Lamine Yamal, Olmo, and they had Kubarsi starting in the game. It's been very interesting, too, with this World Cup and the FC Barcelona team, the FC Barcelona narrative. They moved away from that narrative. They don't have nearly as many Barcelona players starting in the game, including a real shocker who I've called this guy the best midfielder on the world on my channel multiple times. I've called Pedri the best midfielder in the world. I will not say that anymore. The young man doesn't even start for this Spanish national team. He's been an absolute bum this World Cup. Say what you want about Lamine Yamal and his performances, but Pedri's contributed nothing to the Spanish team that's in the World Cup final. But it doesn't matter. He's about to win a World Cup. Same with Lamine Yamal. They absolutely fucking dominated France in every single aspect of the game. Now, going back to what I said before I was looking this up and opening up a bag of chips for my son, this game was all flipped on a head, after the penalty. It is what it is, We could have had, a very good game. Maybe France wouldn't have tried pressing the game so much, and maybe they wouldn't have got frustrated so easily. They looked absolutely frustrated after that penalty. Maybe that was demoralizing to them. It was equally as demoralizing when Saliba went down. I hope that cat is okay. He's a very good defender for Arsenal. But as soon as Spain scored that penalty, it was going to be an absolute nightmare for France to get back into this game. One thing Spain and Barcelona too admittedly does better than any other team in the world is keeping possession. It is extremely difficult to try to win a game when the other team has the ball so much damn time during the game. I played in Spain for a couple of years in my 20s, and I can tell you, playing against some Spanish sides, holy shit, you would just never see the ball from them ever. You would lose it, and then it would go about 7-8 minutes without you seeing the ball, and then when you get the ball back, you're like, oh my god, I finally have the ball back. It's finally my chance to do something with it. Can we make something of this opportunity? Can we just finally get the ball and score? And then the next minute, you try doing a pass that maybe you shouldn't have. You're trying to force the issue a little bit, and then you give the ball right back to that Spanish team. That's what I saw in this game. France got very frustrated. Spain's an incredible defensive team. They are lined up incredibly. They are tactically sound. And one thing that can also be said is they have 11 guys on their team that are incredible at 1-2 touch passing. It's a tribute to them and to their nation of how well-oiled, well-defined machine they've become in playing their game, which is just, we're gonna pass you to death. We are gonna pass the living soul out of you, I guess, suck the soul out of you in passing and just frustrate the hell out of you. And then eventually they get their goal. Albeit they scored a penalty and they had that goal. Good for their forward, who I had to look up the pronunciation of this guy's name too, because he has had a hell of a World Cup. This Arzabal guy, I'm probably even butchering that. He plays for, I had to look it up, admittedly so, Real Sociedad. Orzabal. I'm going to struggle pronouncing that. He has 5 goals in this World Cup, and really he's been the main man for Spain, that's for sure. But eventually, all the possession that Spain had, they were eventually going to get another goal. France really didn't do anything to equip themselves well in this game. And then hats off to Barcelona's best midfielder, who I am going to now say is Dani Almo. I've always rated Dani Almo pretty high. I've always liked the cat. He's phenomenal when given the chance. And he had a great pass to Pedro Porro. I think that's his name. Hell of a name. But and then he banged in a goal and made it 2-0. And then really France just didn't do anything going forward at all. Just a struggle. Just a real snoozer of a game. I'm not gonna lie. I will openly admit I was rooting for France in this game. Now, do I care if France wins the World Cup? I sure as hell don't. The only reason I was rooting for them is they had a Real Madrid player. If I had to say the teams that I root for in national soccer or national football, it starts with Italy, number one. I've always been a fan of the Italian national team. I have a little bit of Italian blood running in my veins, so of course I'm always going to root for the Italian national team. If my son in the video ever got good at football, I would try to make him an Italian citizen so that they could win their 5th World Cup, and maybe I will make that happen. I will say I went outside and was playing soccer with my son after this video, and he was banging in some goals. He actually banged in more goals in street soccer than I seen Lamine Yamal bang in at this World Cup. That's just facts. He banged in about 5 on me, but yeah, I'm admittedly, I root for the Italian national team. That is my go-to team. I love the Italian national team. I am Azzurri. I love their jerseys. I love the Italian soccer players of the past. I love the 2006 World Cup team is my favorite World Cup team of all time. After that, I don't give a fuck who wins the World Cup, and Italy wasn't even in the World Cup. I root for America. They're never going to win a World Cup, but I was rooting for France. I would like to see Mbappe do well. He had a stinker, absolute stinker of a game, did nothing up top. The only thing he really did was get frustrated and get a yellow card in this game. So that's really all I'm going to say about this game. An absolute snoozer, a very boring game for the objective watcher. That's for sure. And one thing you could say about the Spanish football team is they do, admittedly, I've heard from multiple people, maybe it's not on the casual soccer fans' eye. They play a very boring brand of football. They'll just pass the death out of you. I mean, it is what it is. Now, some people really think that's a very beautiful style of football. I don't blame them. It's very, very difficult to do. I don't blame them for calling it a beautiful style of football because what they do is almost impossible to hold the possession that long and bang that many passes together and absolutely frustrate the other team. It doesn't make for a good watch sometimes, that's for sure. But yeah, Spain moves on. Hook, line, and sinker from France. No one in France, particularly their top 3 big guys up top, Dembele, Barcola, who started, and particularly Mbappe, did absolutely nothing to contribute to this game. I think Elise also had quite a stinker of a game. He got dominated in the midfield by this Spanish team. So I still want Elise at Real Madrid. I'll go over that later. But man, what a stinker of a game. What a disappointing way for this French national team to go out. Their fans are probably fucking depressed. Real Madrid fans that are particularly Mbappe fans are probably having a real tough time with this one. But once again, I've said on multiple videos, I do not care about individual players at Real Madrid. I want Real Madrid as a team to play well. So tough one for Mbappe. You have to feel for this guy being a Real Madrid player. I'll talk about him first. So Mbappe, disappointing end to the dictator. There's a lot of funny memes out there about dictator Mbappe floating around. It's going to be funny seeing the memes that pop up about him losing this game and sending France home. All I wrote here is disappointing end to the dictator Mbappe. Come home to Madrid and let's figure it out. Admittedly, this is just a little thing. Devastated Kylian Mbappe thanks fans after a phenomenal World Cup. Always leading his country. That's for sure. He's incredible at World Cups. He had a great World Cup run. Very disappointing finish to it. That's for sure. But what can you say about this guy's World Cup performance? He's incredible. I mean, he had a stinker of a game today, but 8 goals in the World Cup, breaking a French record on that one, and 3 assists. He's still tied with Messi as the top scorer of this World Cup. Of course, it'd be cool to see him win the Golden Foot Award or whatever it is, where you bang in the most goals, because he's certainly capable of that. But Spain is his kryptonite. He cannot beat the French national team, nor can he beat Barcelona and the Barcelona Princess Lamine Yamal certainly has his number. He will certainly have nightmares of the Spanish team, just like I have nightmares of FC Barcelona and the Barcelona princess, Lamine Yamal himself. But really, what I can take from this World Cup, there was a stat that came out, and it said that Real Madrid players set a record at this World Cup. I've been accused of being a stat whore. I just got a message of stats from a Barcelona friend, so it's okay when they do it, but I'm a stat whore when I do it. But there was a record set by this Real Madrid team. These Real Madrid players at this World Cup set a record for the most goals scored at a World Cup. 19 total goals from Real Madrid player. That just tells me that there's a lot of fucking talent on this team. We just need to figure out how to do what Spain does, and that's play well as a team. What they do better than anyone else right now, and even better than the teams that are left, including Argentina and England, is Spain has it figured out as a team. They picked a philosophy. You know, they're going to pass the death out of everyone, and they do it better. They employ their philosophy, their strategy, better than any other team. Now, Real Madrid has excellent players, but can we take these players and can we play as a team? Can we execute a philosophy that Jose Mourinho wants to instill, and can we play the best as a team? Who knows? We might end up stinking again next year. I do not know. But one thing I for sure can say is some of our players had incredible but yet disappointing World Cup finishes. Vinny was on incredible form. Terribly disappointing performance as a team, that's for sure. They got knocked out in the round of 16 by Norway. He's going to be upset, but his individual form was incredible. One of the best players at the tournament, bar none, for sure. And then Mbappe, say what you want about him. Say what you want about France. His individual performance at this tournament was incredible. Him and Vinny, can we ever make this work? Who the hell knows? If Jose Mourinho cannot figure this out, and Vinny, that would be the worst thing that could ever happen. Kind of what I'll wrap this whole thing up as is if Vinny signs a new contract and we have Mbappe and Vinny together for the next 3 to 4 odd years, and this next season, if Jose Mourinho still can't figure out the formula for Vinny and Mbappe, we're just going to be stuck in purgatory in hell for the next 3 to 4 years until the next World Cup, and surely one of these cats will leave Real Madrid by then. But we could be stuck in purgatory in hell having two of the best players on planet Earth and just never being able to figure it out with them, because certainly this France team couldn't figure it out against Spain. Spain just employed a magnificent strategy. They're just a better team overall than everyone else. I didn't even give them enough credit for that. That's for goddamn sure. They're an incredible squad, and they're marching to a World Cup final. We'll see how that plays out. I'll get into that in a second. And then hats off to Lamine Yamal, 19 years old. Can't take anything away from him. He's an incredible player. His dribbling ability for sure is the best on planet Earth, maybe besides Lionel Pepsi, a.k.a. Lionel Messi. But once again, this is going to be very interesting with Lamine Yamal and this Spain narrative once they win the World Cup, because they surely will be favorites in this one. If you look at Lamine Yamal, I entitled this slide, "Give him the Ballon d'Or." The man has done nothing yet, though. Yeah, I mean, give him the Ballon d'Or. The man has done close to nothing yet. We'll just leave it at that. I actually had a typo here. The man has done close to nothing yet. I mean, say what you want. I mean, if we judge players on their ability to beat a man and almost score a goal, he's the best player in the world for sure. I mean, I count now. He's almost up to 12 goals. He almost had a goal today. It got called back offside. He almost had an assist today, but currently he's on double zeros every fucking game. He scored a goal against Saudi Arabia. It's the most interesting, I could say, World Cup from that perspective I've ever seen, because I can't personally think of a World Cup. The last one that I can remember, and I don't even think they gave out the Ballon d'Or back then, is, and not a lot of people know about this, is the 1962 World Cup with Pele and Garrincha. They were both at that World Cup, but Garrincha was significantly better than Pele in that World Cup. He banged in more goals. He had more assists. But of course, Pele gets all the credit. You know, for people that didn't actually watch that World Cup, people that objectively haven't gone back and did the research on it, they all think that Pele was significantly the best player on all those Brazilian teams. That's cap. Garrincha was the better player overall in the 1962 World Cup. And I feel like we're having a situation with this with Lamine Yamal. People, say Spain wins this World Cup and Lamine Yamal is going to be given the Ballon d'Or. That's just facts. But what did he contribute to this World Cup besides some dribbles and a lot of almost goals and a lot of almost assists? Sure, he's a constant threat on the pitch and you have to worry about that. But at the end of the day, there's nothing quantifiable. I could only imagine the headlines when he wins the Ballon d'Or and they show his World Cup statistics. They'll be like, hey, his World Cup statistics is he had one fucking goal against Saudi Arabia, but the eye test tells you he almost had 12 goals. He almost had 11 assists. It's going to be a madness. It's going to be one of the most... If Spain wins the World Cup and this guy continues to do nothing, and he's not going to care, he's going to laugh at himself. He's going to laugh all the way to a Ballon d'Or, and he's going to be laughing on the stage, and he's going to be flicking off people like me and pulling out his little Willis on stage and wiggling at people like me and be like, hey, you know what? Screw y'all. I just laughed my way all the way to a Ballon d'Or. I didn't really have to do much to contribute to this Spanish national team, but he will have almost completed football at the age of 19, winning a World Cup and winning a Euros, which the Euros he significantly contributed to. He was fucking incredible during their Euro runs, admittedly so. But it will be very interesting to see what will happen with this Ballon d'Or because they're going to give it to him. And if you look at it, his national team will have won the World Cup. He will have contributed exactly one goal to the whole run. Now, the Barcelona team, if you consider that from the last Ballon d'Or, they won La Liga in a... Yes, buddy. Hold on one sec. Can we play with this? Can you give me 5 minutes and I'll be in the room and we'll play, okay?
No, with this.
Yes, buddy.
We can make some animals with this.
Okay, give me a second, okay? But yeah, it will be very interesting because Lamine Yamal and this Barcelona club team, just honestly speaking, I'm not trying to be mean here. Lamine Yamal had a great season, but they got railroaded in the Copa del Rey against Atletico Madrid. They got railroaded in the Champions League by every good side, and they are the queens of Spain. They beat everyone in Spain, but they didn't do anything on a higher level than La Liga, and they just beat up on one of the worst Real Madrid teams you will ever fucking see in the history of soccer. Now, if that deserves a Ballon d'Or, we have set new low standards for Ballon d'Ors. I'm just being for real. How can we, like, what will the next player that wins a Ballon d'Or? Are we going to give it to a winger on a future, let's say the Euros come around and there's another guy that pops up there. Are we going to give it to a winger that has some cool dribbles and some YouTube highlights but doesn't bang in any goals, doesn't bang in any assists or anything like that? I mean, we would be setting new lows for the Ballon d'Or, but sure, if we want to give it to him, that's fine. I wouldn't even really have an issue with it. He is an incredible player, and what's only scary about, this dude is he's only going to get better. The only thing I can think of, and maybe I want Spain to win the World Cup, is maybe he'll get so fucking full of himself he might start doing crystal meth or do a madness like that and just fucking fall off a cliff, or something crazy will happen to him. Who knows? But he doesn't care. He's going to laugh his way all the way to a Ballon d'Or. So give him the Ballon d'Or. The man has done close to nothing yet. That's just facts. But now we have the remainder of the World Cup. I mean, what's going on here? This is nightmare fuel for a Real Madrid fan. It can only be described as I wrote, how will this World Cup finish up? And it feels like a kick in the nuts to me. That's what I have on this slide. So at this point, no teams that I want to win the World Cup are left. That's just facts. I don't like the Spanish national team. That's for sure. I've been actively rooting against them. I don't like Argentina. I respect the hell out of Messi. That's for sure. He is the GOAT of soccer. What he's doing at this World Cup compared to what Yamal is doing at this World Cup, Yamal cannot even sniff his fucking nutsack. That's facts. What Jude Bellingham is doing at this World Cup, Yamal can't even sniff his nut hairs either. Now, do I like the English national team? Hell no, I don't like the English national team. I've always disliked them, but whoever wins this World Cup, it's going to feel like a kick in the nuts to me because I'm not rooting for any of these fucking teams. Now, I have it in order for what nut kick would hurt the most. So you have if Spain wins the World Cup, especially if they start playing more Barcelona players. Maybe they do a madness and put Pedri and Gavi in and Almo in the final and Ferran Torres and the whole team is once again a Barcelona team, that would be the biggest nut kick of all time. I'm living in the Barcelona golden generation. They sure as hell can't win a Champions League, but everything else they are winning. I will stand behind that. I don't think they will win a Champions League next year on the current team that they have ensembled and the stupid high line that they do employ on Barcelona, not the Spanish national team. But it will certainly be the biggest nut kick of my fucking life if this Barcelona-esque Spanish team wins the World Cup, and it will be even more rage bait if Lamine Yamal gets a Ballon d'Or, having contributed close to nothing to this group project. I've described this on my channel before. I've been working on my master's degree. It's very hard for me to put out videos with my work schedule and the MBA schedule that I'm working on. I'm taking a little break from it now, but I've been on some group projects where I've had some incredibly smart people on the project, smarter than me. And I realized that right off the bat. I'm like, this person's really smart. The way they talk, the way they speak, their thoughts and their process behind everything. Now, when it comes down to it and we actually have to do the project, these fuckers will not contribute one iota to the project. That kind of reminds me of the Spanish national team. There's nothing quantifiable of what Lamine Yamal's doing in this World Cup. He's had some incredible dribbles, that's for goddamn sure. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. So it would certainly be a fucking kick in the nuts there. My battery's about to die. I'm gonna plug this in real quick, and then I'll continue on to how much of a kick in the nuts it would be if Argentina wins this World Cup, because certainly that nut kick is loading. And we're back. Sorry, I had to plug my laptop and phone in. We're doing this at a different location because my son's watching monster trucks. But I cracked open a natural light because it's been a hell of a day, man. This is depressing times for Real Madrid fans, that's for sure. Unofficial sponsors of the channel, that's for goddamn sure. What a depressing time to be a Real Madrid fan with Spain, this FC Barcelona team loaded up with those cats on the bench now, admittedly so. Actually, one of Spain's better players has been Cucurella. I'm excited for that guy to come to Real Madrid, but man, it would be like a kick in the nuts, like I was saying, for them to win the World Cup. And now, another kick in the nuts that wouldn't be considerably as hard would be if Leo Messi himself, the GOAT of soccer, ends up winning this World Cup. Now, the GOAT debate has been over for a long time. I appreciate everything Cristiano Ronaldo did for Real Madrid, but he's simply not anywhere in the class of Lionel Messi. Now, if you are whispered in that class, yes, that certainly, you had a great career. Now, going back to it, if Lionel Messi wins this World Cup, give him the Ballon d'Or. Like I was saying, Lamine Yamal, albeit is super young, what this 39-year-old is doing compared to this 19-year-old, like I said, Lamine Yamal can't even sniff Lionel Messi's leftover boxers from the match. That's for sure. He's not worthy of that based on his performances. Leo Messi, Leo Pepsi has been absolutely dominant at this World Cup. Now, they're not ever going to escape the VAR narrative. There has just been some crazy VAR calls. I didn't have time to do a quarterfinal review. Even that Switzerland game, the VAR call absolutely got that correct. The Swedish player flopped like a little magic carp, like a little fish. But in most soccer matches, you never see a yellow card get a VAR review. Maybe it does in the background, but this one got a significant review, and the Swiss were really taking it to Argentina. And that's just facts. They were playing better than them. They had just scored a goal. They tied it up. And then, of course, this Swiss player just did an absolute madness and decided he wanted to flop like a magic carp from Pokemon. And he got his ass kicked out of the game. It was crazy. Argentina is getting VAR calls like it's, their second job. They've got a lot of help. Now, albeit Messi has been absolutely incredible. He's turning back the clock. But if Argentina wins this World Cup, it would be like a nut kick to me and all black people on planet Earth. Do a little bit of research and just Google the last time there's been a black person that has played on the Argentinian national team. They are one of the low-key most racist countries on the planet. They also might be one of the most racist planets, like I said, because they live on their own planet. They don't live in reality. They have like 1% of their population is black, and they're in South America. Their next door neighbors have a significant amount of black players, but to each their own, And if Messi won another World Cup, it would be annoying, but it would just further solidify what he's already proven, which is the GOAT. So it would be like a soft nut kick, that's for sure. If it were a Spain-Argentina final, I don't even know if I'd fucking watch that, to be honest with you. I have no rooting interest in both teams. That would be an absolute kick to the balls if they won. The only thing that could possibly happen would be if somehow the game just went on forever. Like it went into stoppage time. It was a 0-0 banger and just went into penalties, and the penalties just lasted till the end of time. Like every penalty was a miss, and the game just kept on going, and then they had to call it a forfeit, and they just ended the World Cup in a draw. And somehow they just took it off the books altogether. Now that's living in the land of make-believe. Just like living in the land of make-believe, saying Lamine Yamal has quantifiable stats to prove his greatness at the World Cup. That's the eye test. That's living in the land of make-believe. But moving on to England, there is a guy that's been having an absolute banger of a World Cup, and that's Jude Bellingham. And I guess this would be the least. This would be like a flick in the nuts. Just a little flick. Do I want England to win the World Cup? Man, that would be some of the most annoying rage bait shit of all time. These English fans, you would never hear them stop saying it's coming home, it came home. The narrative on that would be absolutely fucking crazy, and I don't even know if I want to hear that. So that would be like a little nut tap for me. But of course, I mean, they have a player that's having a significant World Cup in Jude Bellingham, that I would love for him to bang in a goal in the semifinals and maybe bang in a goal in the finals, because he's capable of doing that for sure. By the way, I will openly, if you want me to call Lamine Yamal the best player in the world, Barcelona fans, I surely can maybe get behind that. For sure, he has a lot of talent. But I will never fucking ever call Pedri a better midfielder than Jude Bellingham. When Jude Bellingham is healthy, he's 100 times better than Pedri. He is a better on defense, better scoring. Pedri might have passing, but Jude Bellingham is the best midfielder in the world, bar none, when he is healthy. The guy is an absolutely incredible. Now, he might not get his fair chance, and they might lose easily to Leo Pepsi, that's for sure. But I guess I would be rooting for them. I have a vested rooting interest in them. Now, do I think they're going to beat Argentina? I really don't. I think Argentina is somehow going to get the magical GOAT and VAR help to make it to the World Cup final. And then if I had to pick a winner right now, I'm going to pick Spain straight up. They are fucking incredible for what they employ. Now, I will say this with a caveat. I think Spain will win, and I still think Lamine Yamal will drop. Close your eyes. What do you see? Nothing. I don't think he will contribute at all. I think he will be the lord of double zeros. That's facts. And he will laugh his way all the way to the most controversial Ballon d'Or of all time. And I actually will be interested to watch that ceremony. I don't watch a lot of Ballon d'Or ceremonies, but it will be only described as a madness of him getting the Ballon d'Or with the type of World Cup that he's had, which is just chalk average. I mean, you have to have Barcelona glazed eyes to say he's the best player, even on that own Spanish national team, because he's contributed close to nothing to this World Cup run. I'm not the only person that's said this. Look it up. There's multiple articles out on this. I mean, I did a simple Google search, and all of them say waiting for Lamine Yamal's World Cup moment. The scary part is he doesn't have to do anything for the Spanish national team to win, and that just proves that, the Spanish national team is that fucking good, and these players are that good. But moving on, let's talk a little bit of club football. So now that a lot of Real Madrid players are coming home, even though this guy had an absolute stinker of a game, now is the perfect time to go after Michael Olise at Real Madrid. We certainly need his ass at Real Madrid. He did not play well against Spain, that's for sure. He looked maybe a little bit of a fish out of water playing center midfield. And he had a hell of a World Cup. He had 5 assists at his very first World Cup. That's better than any fucking Barcelona bum. I'll give Danny Almo credit. He's having quite a good World Cup, but that's certainly better than the Barcelona Princess's sidekick, Pedri. This dude looked a little bit like a fish out of water against Spain, but he's naturally a right winger. he could maybe end up being developed into a good midfielder, but he certainly would play right wing at Real Madrid, and we use a lot of help. We could use a lot of help at right wing. That's for goddamn sure. We employ the likes of, like I've said on my channel multiple times, we employ Brahim Diaz, the Moroccan prince, got sent home. We employ the likes of Mastantuono, Slim Shady himself, which the only thing quantifiable he's done in his career is he's stolen Lamine Yamal's girlfriend and banged her. There was more banging done by Mastantuono in that regards than Lamine Yamal banging in goals in this World Cup. That's just facts. Actually tied. So he banged his girlfriend one time, and Lamine Yamal has banged in one goal. So tied on that. Thanks, Mastantuono, for that. But as a football player, he's an absolute bum. So we could use Michael Olise for sure. And the rumor is he has requested a emergency meeting with Bayern Munich amid Real Madrid transfer talk, and all these Real Madrid players are trying to get him to come, play for Real Madrid. And there was even reports today that his agent is pushing him for not to sign a renewal contract at Bayern. So this leads me to believe, I think there's 2 years left on his contract, maybe 3. This is the time where if he lets his intentions be known to Bayern Munich that he absolutely wants out of the club, that he will not renew his contract, and Real Madrid throws a madness like 200 million, 250 million, I think Bayern would behoove them to take that, while the money and why the value for Olise, there's my cat, is at an all-time high, because his value may go down next year. That's for sure. He could have a stinker of a season, like he had a stinker of a game today, and his value could go down. So if Bayern were smart and the player wants to leave, maybe he even comes out and says he wants to leave, there's a high likelihood that Real Madrid might be able to sneak in there and get him. And I think that's exactly who we need to, help bolster our team and maybe be competitive in La Liga. Even if we can't win La Liga, I think we could be competitive in the Champions League. We weren't too far behind Bayern. We did get beat by them, but it was a little bit of a madness with a red card, and that really screwed us with Camavinga doing that one. Now, I won't make excuses. Bayern is way better than us. I'm not a Barcelona fan. I don't have a victim mentality, and I would love to see the victim mentality come out if they lose the final. And what's the justification for that? I would also love to see the victim mentality if someone else would win the Ballon d'Or, and all these Barcelona fans crying that they actually give the Ballon d'Or to a player that did something quantifiable at a World Cup. But moving on, I will talk a little bit of Barcelona news as well. And I do think Julian Alvarez will go through. And I wrote this slide as Barcelona will get Julian Alvarez, but at what cost though? And really why I say this is Barcelona took out a huge loan, another loan. In case you weren't tracking, and I actually called this on my channel, I said that Barcelona was going to do a madness this summer now that they have gone to 1-1 with the financial fair play. They are now allowed. If you're not familiar what that means, it means that for every $1 of revenue that they earn, they can spend $1 in transfer fees. They were on pretty hard restrictions because the club has been dog shit financially for a while, and they were on 1-4 spending, or 1-4 with financial fair play. So for every $4 of revenue that they made, or €4, they were allowed to spend $1 in transfer fees. So I said this on my video that Barcelona, once they got to a financial fair play of the 1-to-1 rule, they were going to do some type of madness, and they were going to spend a ton of money that they didn't have, and they were going to go right back to being broke-alona, and they were going to go right back to being in financial fair play sanctions. And it looks like it's going to happen because Barcelona did secure a $210 million or million euro loan structured as an advance on future television rights. More television right controversies. They already sold off 25% of their television rights, which is going to lose them $2 billion in the long term. But now they basically got a loan from this company, Senior Media Notes, and basically they're getting money based off what they're potentially going to earn on the future. Now, they're getting a little bit of what you could call liquidity, short-term money, in order to finance their spending. And if you don't know, Barcelona has the highest debt of any club in the world. It's $1.5 billion of debt, not 1.5 million, $1.5 billion. So you take out a loan, and if you look on their income statement on the end of the year, they're tacking on another $210 million onto their debt. Now, in order for you to basically get one-to-one financial fair play, you have to turn a profit. You have to show profitability. You have to show that you are not going further and further and further down the line into debt. Barcelona was kind of getting there, but they basically got this money to fuel more transfers, which they're going to spend on Julian Alvarez. Watch in the next. They already signed this other cat, but hey, Nova, but that's my dog. But they're gonna. I bet you they're gonna line up $160 million transfer fee for this cat. I guarantee it, because Atletico Madrid requested not deferred payments. We went over this on my channel. Barcelona likes to make deferred payments, like over a span of time. They're still paying back on Lewandowski. They're still paying back on Ferland Torres. They're still paying back on Mr. Champions League himself, Rafinha, which is a fucking madness. But
Daddy,
this is my son.
I want to watch something on the big
Okay, I'll put it on 5 more minutes and I'll be done. Okay, so we do have them taking out a significant loan, and this is simple. Why they're taking out this loan, and I have all this listed on here. This is common sense stuff. It's cash for purchases. The loan gives Barcelona immediate cash in hand to pay upfront transfer fees. So, and the reason why they're having to do this is they are anticipating a renewed financial fair play breach. So the club officials explicitly arranged this loan because they anticipate exceeding financial fair play regulations. They don't have the revenue. They aren't able to generate their revenue internally through their own company. They have to get revenue from an outside source, and it's going to further bury them in debt and further get them in financial fair play trouble. It's going to happen again next year. I fully predict that. I think they will get their man, but I then think they will be in hell again. And then it goes on to say the club expects to breach financial fair play rules. They will likely continue to face strict player registration restrictions. This is all coming. I won't go into too much more detail with this one, but I just want to say I called this. They will get their man, but they will be in financial hell again because they're just adding to their significant debt. But Julian Alvarez is a great player. He banged in a hell of a goal against the Swiss in stoppage time. They should go get him. They might be able to win that Champions League with him. Who the hell knows? We'll see what happens with these finals, and let's see what type of nut kick I get that results from it. Thank you for watching my channel. I appreciate y'all. Congratulations to Spain. Congratulations to any Spanish people. You guys deserve it. You thoroughly outplayed France. Lamine Yamal, laugh all the way to the podium and collect the most, I guess you would say, you did nothing Ballon d'Or of all time. You deserve it, buddy. Take care. MadridristaFitz out.